you have to be able to say, how do you want me to play, and that's how I'm going to play. How do we play defense as a team? What is my job when I play defense? Offensively, what are we trying to do? And then everybody's got to commit to playing that way. Now, it may not be the way you want to play, and in most likely is not the way you've ever played. But the only way you can really trust each other is you know what everybody's doing. I'm on the basketball court, and I know what the other four guys are doing because they've bought into how we're playing as a team. And those are the kind of breakdowns that we're having, especially on these runs. We'll just have 3 or 4 guys just do like, why'd you do that? Well, I was trying to, wait a minute. Why did you do that? That's not how we're going to play. You know that. I thought I was. Don't think then. Just do what we're asking you to do. Those are the kind of things that we're fighting through.
You've had several young teams. What's different about this?
No one here to mimic. There's no one here to imitate. This team doesn't have the stopper that those other teams have had, one guy to just go guard somebody. But this team has some things that those other teams didn't have. Never had a team this long. We're an attacking team, which is pretty good. But those two areas, when a team gets on a run and you don't have a guy that just says, let me guard him, that's a difference. The emotional guy, let's go, let's stop this. That's enough. We're still, those are developing things within this team, and that happens over time. I mean, look, it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen on one game. You got to take some. There's got to be crisis along the way, and they've got to adjust to it. They've got to show and grow, learn from it. We watched some tape at my house last night, last 13 minutes of the game. And, just said, this is our game. And then there's 3 minutes to go. This is our game. We got the ball. And we let go. And here's why. And you just see it. Why'd you do that? Why didn't you just get strong to the rim? Why did you flip it? Why didn't you block out right there? Because those are the kind of things that we're going through. But I'll say it again. I think guys are doing some good stuff, and we'll see.
It's always long term. Are you almost glad, in terms of a lesson, that these guys were able to see just how dramatically a game can turn in such a short time?
No, we've seen it. We saw the Maryland game. We saw the Duke game. In reverse, well, in both ways. We saw the Louisville game, us go one way and then us come back. I talked to them about some of those football games. Guys are down 21 and 20. They just keep playing. They don't worry about that. What is in their mindset and what's in your mindset? How are you thinking when you're going through that stuff? And again, this is like even the game we had coming up. Tennessee is good. I don't care what anybody says, well, they've lost this game. Let me tell you, I just watched the tape. McCray, can score with the best of them, and Stokes inside. The other guys that got veterans, they are a good team. And it's going to be a hard challenge for these guys. It's another game in that list of games that you're going to have to play. This is a big game. Stokes says, we're winning in Rupp Arena. We're not losing in Rupp Arena. All right, how do you take on that challenge? Because I imagine he will be ready to play.
John, what traits did DeAndre and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist have as a stopper that you would like
Took pride in it. They took pride in it. No, just said, it's not acceptable. I'm playing you, and I'm not fouling you, and there's a pride in that. And you've got to take that on as who you want to be. Both of those guys have driven that trait to the NBA. Oklahoma City, Will's in there from Oklahoma City just told me they could not believe how hard he works and how he's toned his game back so that he's doing what he does well now versus trying to do all the other stuff. And DeAndre, I mean.
How tough is that for a guy who's used to being
It's hard. It's hard. Shooting all the balls.
Yeah.
Going at your pace. Let me go behind I'm tired, so I'm not going to go hard. There's no sub for me. It's a process, and that's why I said I'm not upset with the guys. I know what they're going through. I'd like to have won more games, but this is the process. And My issue is recognize it, now let's begin to change. As long as that's happening, we're good. If it isn't happening, you're not gonna, if you don't change, if you don't recognize and then begin to change, there's not gonna be a change on the court. You keep getting beat. Now, if there is a change, again, my vision is there's no one late in this season gonna wanna play this team, if we get it right. But right now, it appears everybody wants to play this team.
Can you tell if that recognition of needing to change is there, or will that be?
We'll see. It's sometimes it'll be shown in practice and then it'll be shown in games. Do you have at winning time, at gut time, at that last 4 or 5 minutes, are you going to take chances defensively? Are you not going to block out? Are you not going to come up with the ball? Are you going to leave your feet and foul? Then you haven't moved. That's exactly what we've been doing. And on offense, are you going to attempt an offensive rebound? Or if a guy turns and looks at you, do you stop? Or do you run around him to try to go rebound? Are you going to get fouled? Kyle, are you going to get yourself to the foul line? Julius, get yourself to the line. Maybe you can't get a shot. Get fouled. And then lastly, are we going to execute those last 4 minutes, walking out of timeouts, that discipline that you need, that trust that you need, that everyone will do their job, is where we're trying to move to.
John, how much credit should we give Elston Turner, because
Oh, he was good.
passing also?
Yeah, well, now look, he scored a career high as a senior, the fifth-year senior. He was 26. He's averaging 15. So what he did was off the charts. I mean, and when we put a big on him, he stepped back even farther and shot it. There were no layups. There were 1 or 2 runners, one runner that wasn't bad. The rest of them were bombs and shots that he could make. He played an unbelievable game. And I thought our fans were great, which our fans are always great. They gave him an ovation. It's like, holy cow, this kid beat us by himself. It wasn't true, but that 40 kind of put the dagger in us.
Use that everybody's Super Bowl line all the time. Does a guy come in and getting 40 like that?
Oh, yeah.
Does that sink in?
Yeah, believe me, he got the tape of that. His grandchildren will be watching that tape, believe me. And for Billy and their staff, that's a big deal. I mean, and that's what we're trying to, there's got to be some fight and emotion when you play these games. You can't just go out and say, well, I don't have that in me. Then you're not going to compete at the level you need to compete. You got to have some emotion to you. And it doesn't have to be, but your game has to show it. It doesn't have to be verbally, but your game has to show it. So you can say, I don't like to be rah-rah. Great. Just show it with everything else that you're playing hard. So that's the kind of stuff we're trying to bring out.
The closest candidate?
Possibly.
The guy to do that?
Possibly, but we need some other guys to do the same.
You're going to need a stopper, obviously, at points along the season. Who do you turn to?
Maybe Archie, see if he can do it. We're trying some different things, some things I've not done in my career that we're doing. I played more zone in that game than I have since I've been the coach here. And maybe that's something we go to. We've been working on it. I mean, we've spent more time on zone defense in the last 2 weeks than we have in my entire coaching career. So we're trying to figure out what, the whole thing is, how do I put these guys in the best position to win? How do we create a trust that they need to win? How do we finish off in winning time and gut time? How do I get them to think the right way? How, when there's a run one way or another, they know how to stem the tide or keep it going? I mean, this is all new to these guys.
John, it sounds like
Man-to-man obviously puts a premium on communications on the court, as you say. How does playing zone affect that with a young team that's not used to it?
They got to still talk. They got to be active. The zone we're playing is a really active one, trying to just get them to run around and be probably more active than they would be on if they were playing man-to-man.
Is it more of a matchup?
No.
sounds like you think zone is probably the best thing.
No, I hate zone. I hate it. I think what you do is you guard man-to-man and you sprinkle it in. I know there are teams that play solely zone. That's what they play. We've won a lot of games, a lot of league championships, a lot of league tournament championships, a lot of NCAA games playing man. So, no, I know that's the best way to do it. But I also know, more than anything else, I want this team to have a chance to win. So I've got to look at everything and say how, and be honest about it and not worry about me, because it's not about me. This is about this team.
What's
You
your
know,
number
it's
for
just-
performance in the first 10 minutes of the second half against Turner?
No, he did good, and he tired out, and they shouldn't have been in the game. He should have been out, and I left him in there trying to finish out the game. So the last 5 minutes, we're up 4, and he just dies on screens and gets beat, and he couldn't sustain it. Well, he shouldn't have been in the game that long. That's not his fault. That's my fault. And then probably the same with Ryan Harrell. You're trying to play him too much. I played Nerlens too much, but I didn't have a choice because Willie got in foul trouble. So, you know, we've got to get a better rotation. There are a lot of things. I mean, we got a lot of things to deal with as we go forward, and you're trying to play your best basketball when you know the other team is going to play their best basketball. So you got to try to figure out as we go forward, how do we play our best? How do I get these guys to continue to grow? Let me just say this. Short of the guy getting 40 on us, we played better. That's what's scary. We played better. The kid got 40 on us, but when you look at what we did on the court, when you look at Nerlens, I mean, Nerlens' numbers, if that kid doesn't get 40 and we win the game, and the country is talking about Nerlens, but we lost and the kid get 40. I think Willie's still playing well. I think Archie and Ryan are playing fine. I think you'll have Julius, and we're trying to get Alex. We're doing everything we can. And when I watched the tape, Alex played fine. He just didn't have enough energy sustained, enough effort that was sustained effort. But when I watched the tape, he wasn't in knots playing basketball. It has nothing to do shooting, dribbling, doing all that stuff. It has nothing to do with that. It's a simple sustaining effort. Fighting screens, continuing to play, sprinting the court. That's what we're trying to work on with him. And he wants it bad. He's such a great kid and wants to please us and please me. But, you know, like I said, it's all a process. Yesterday, I had him in the room and I said, all right, have you ever been better as a player the way you are right now? And every one of them said, no, this is the best I've ever been as a player. Great. Have you ever played harder in your life? Raise your hand. If you've ever, and they all, no, this is the hardest. Alex, have you ever even been close to this, how hard you've had to play? No, this is the hardest by far. And we're all saying it ain't enough. In their minds, they're saying, I never played harder than this. This dude wants more. Now, if it were on a normal situation, he's a freshman, I'm happy. I'm hugging him. You'll be all right. Just try to play a little harder. You're good. But we're at Kentucky. This is warp speed. Everything's on steroids. I mean, it's... So you're challenging kids that are 17, 18, 19-year-old to be like Turner, 24 years old. You got to beat him. And it's, but you decided to come here. It wasn't me. I didn't beg you to come here. You knew coming in. And so I think they're getting the picture. And it's, you know, hey, we got a ways to go. Game, I'm telling you, the game Tuesday is going to be a hard game for us. But I'm anxious to see how they respond. I'm anxious to see how tough they play. Those are all good things.
How do you get down to the free throw line?
You got to be aggressive and play through bumps and be tough and ball fake and go in with the idea I'm going to get fouled. I'm not going to avoid the contact and say, well, the guy grabbed me. I ain't calling that. I mean, you got to go in with an idea where it hit basket. Same on a ball fake inside. Ball fake and go through. Not ball fake and avoid, fade away, or step back. All that stuff that we're doing, you can't get fouled. And they're not going to just give us calls. So you got to create that contact and get a foul and get to the line. I mean, like I said, last game you say, how could you say you played better? We only had 9 turnovers. We had 2 in the last 30 seconds or whatever. 9 turnovers. We, offensive rebounding, they got too many in the first half. We settled down in the second half. Field goal percentage, 45, 46%. Not great, but not bad for us. Free throw percentage, what we did. We missed some threes. But what the numbers would say, all right, someone has the ball for the last shot. But it's not, wasn't the case. So